Hi, everybody. It's me. Guess where I am? Can you tell by our surroundings? I am not in my library at home. I am here at school, and we're going to try to do a short series of videos where we just do some regular in-class stuff, not just the read alouds, and I can talk to you a little bit and we can do some instruction. And then I will still be downloading these, having my son edit them and compress them and all that, and then we'll download them to YouTube. So you'll still be able to see us from the same spot you were seeing us before on Around the Word with Mrs. O'Barr. Happy to see you. We had a great week last week. 5 of you were able to come back and see us, and we miss you so much. We want to see you all again as soon as possible. So I thought we'd talk, and I know that your families have talked to you a lot about what's going on with COVID-19, but I thought we'd just do a little social story kind of book for you, so you get another idea about why we're not at school and why we need to keep doing things like wearing masks and staying at home so we can get back in school in September, because we really, really want to see you then. And we're lonely here. I'm lonely in this classroom. I'm by myself. You can tell. It's silent. It's not that fun. It's not fun without you. That's the truth. So here's our first little bookie for today. I might be moving it around because I see glare on the screen, and I'm not sure if that glare is going to register with you guys. So I'm trying to be careful. So it says all about COVID-19. Here we go. COVID-19 or coronavirus is a virus that can make people sick. He's got an angry face. He's making people sick. This virus is mainly spread from person to person. There's an example of shaking hands to spread the virus. When an infected person coughs or sneezes, the infected person releases respiratory droplets which contain the virus. Little pieces of virus fly out of your mouth when you talk or cough or sneeze. These infected droplets can be inhaled or transported via touch to a person's mouth or nose and make another person sick. That's what we have to prevent. Let's find out some more about it. 2 to 14 days, what does that mean? Symptoms of COVID-19 range from mild to severe and can appear anywhere from 2 to 14 days after exposure. That's not good. 14 days is 2 weeks. Half of a month. That's a long time. Fever, cough, and shortness of breath are common symptoms of COVID-19. Oh. So, like last week, if you were getting on a van or a bus to come to school, you had to have your temperature taken. That's what a fever is if you're hot, if your head is hot, your neck is hot, you might have a fever. And we all know what a cough is. If you do become ill with coronavirus, you should stay home and get medical treatment. This says stay home, which is what we've been doing, right? You should also limit your exposure with other people. This may also be called a quarantine. That's a big word. Here it is. Quarantine. A new word for us. If you have COVID-19, wear a face mask, cover your mouth and nose when you cough or sneeze, and wash your hands frequently. You know, all of that advice is good even if you don't have COVID-19. To prevent COVID-19, you can be wearing a mask, covering your mouth and nose when you cough or sneeze, and washing your hands frequently. like I do, right? I'm a crazy hand washer. I say, excuse me, I have to go wash my hands real quick. There are steps you can take to prevent yourself from getting sick too. What steps can we take? Wearing the mask, washing our hands. Wash your hands often and wash your hands for at least 20 seconds each time with soap. 20 seconds. How do we know what 20 seconds is? Well, one of the things we teach you here is to sing yourself a little song while you're washing your hands, right? Let's see if I can get into happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear everybody. Happy birthday to you while you're washing your hands. That's about 20 seconds. There you go. Even though it's not really your birthday. It might be your birthday, but if soap and water is not available, use hand sanitizer with at least 60% alcohol content. Well, not all of us have access to that. Some of us have things like, where are they? Oh, I have little hand sanitizing wipes. I guess I've lost them. And hand sanitizer that doesn't have any alcohol in it. All of that would be better than nothing, but if you can wash your hands, please wash your hands. And don't touch your face or any part of your face with unwashed hands. None of this, no fingers, none of it, because that spreads the germs. The good thing about a mask, let's try it. I'll show you. I'll model my beautiful mask. The good thing about a mask is if you try to get your finger up there, you can't. You can't spread that around, right? So don't. You get used to masks too. Some people say, oh, kids don't like to wear masks. Well, adults don't like to wear masks either, but we do it and you'll get used to it. It's really not that bad. Public health emergencies can be stressful for communities. Make sure you are sharing accurate information about COVID-19, like what you learned in this book. Oh, I didn't even show you the page. I'm sorry. It was off this screen. There you go. Information. Share good information. The end. But wait, there's comprehension questions. What is this story about? I already put the correct answer. Sorry. Was it about the flu or was it about COVID-19? It was about COVID-19, not the flu. Although that flu looks pretty angry too, if you ask me. What should you do to prevent getting sick? Should you sneeze on people or should you wash your hands? You should wash your hands. If you are sick, which should you do? Go in crowds or stay at home? I already give you the answer. You should stay at home. Don't go out in a crowd. And is COVID-19 shared through animals? Is that true or false? Do you get it from animals? No! They told us how we get it. Over here. The virus is spread from person to person, which means if somebody sneezes on you or coughs on you, you might get it. You might not, but you might get it, and you need to be careful. Can you get it from your dog? No. Can you get it from your cat? No. COVID-19. Good information. Okay, so I said hello. We read a COVID-19 story. I'm going to take a little break and get a new task all set up so you don't have to watch me do that stuff. And then we'll put all the video together at the end and everything will be great. Okay, see you back in a minute. I'm back. I moved over slightly so we can see our calendar behind us. And we can do some calendar type activities real quickly. Okay, so first of all, what month is it? Let's talk about that. Do we know? Is it, I'll give you a choice and you tell me the correct answer. Is it June? Or is it July? Which one? Well, if you're looking up above me, you can see that it does say July and Julio in Spanish. So let's figure out what day it is and let's count our numbers together in English and Spanish. I'm kind of out of frame, but that's okay. You can still hear me, right? So it is July in Spanish or Julio in Spanish. That's sorry. Here we go. English. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31. Is there 31 days in July? What's our rhyme? 30 days have September, April, June, and November. So June had 30, July has 31. Spanish now, ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31. Yeah! Let's move this in. What is it, you may say? Let's see if we can fill the frame. Oh, so close. Let me just adjust the computer slightly so we can look at all of this. Nope. There we go. Okay, we'll start with that. I will sing. Pardon me. January, February, March, and April, May, June, July. Oops, you already can't see it. And August, September, October, November, December. Those are the months of the year. Let's try it in Spanish. Enero, febrero, marzo, abril, mayo, junio, julio, agosto, septiembre, octubre, noviembre, diciembre. Those are the months of the year in Espanol. And ordinal numbers? Sorry, my camera work is not great. Here we go. First and second and third and fourth, fifth and sixth and seventh and eighth, ninth and 10th and 11th and 12th. Got it? As far as we go. Those are the ordinal numbers. Okay, we should be able to do days of the week in English. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and then we start again. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and then we end in Spanish. Domingo, lunes, martes, miércoles, jueves, viernes, sábado. Again. Domingo, lunes, martes, miércoles, jueves, viernes, sábado. That was it! You did it! Thank you for doing it with me. I'm out of practice. I have not been singing all summer long. I haven't been singing that much since March. I need to keep singing every day. So do you. It's a great thing. Singing frees your soul. Makes you happy. Pick a song that you like. I was trying to think of a song we all like. Because I'm happy. Clap your hands if you feel like a room without a roof. Let's stop for now and we'll go to our story. So I'm going to again pause it. Again, we'll edit it. We'll post it. It'll be okay. Be right back. Okay, we're back. We're going to try read aloud. And
A Bad Case of Stripes. Written and illustrated by David Shannon. When you hear this sound, it's time to turn the page. Camilla Cream loved lima beans, but she never ate them. All of her friends hated lima beans, and she wanted to fit in. Camilla was always worried about what other people thought of her. Today she was fretting even more than usual, It was the first day of school, and she couldn't decide what to wear. There were so many people to impress. She tried on 42 outfits, but none seemed quite right. She put on a pretty red dress and looked in the mirror. Then she screamed, "Ah!" Her mother ran into the room, and she screamed too. "Ah! Oh, my heavens," she cried. "You're completely covered with stripes." This was certainly true. Camilla was striped from head to toe. She looked like a rainbow. Mrs. Cream felt Camilla's forehead. "Do you feel all right?" she asked. "I feel fine," Camilla answered. "But just look at me." "You get back in bed this instant," her mother ordered. "You're not going to school today." Camilla was relieved. She didn't want to miss the first day of school, but she was afraid of what the other kids would say, and she had no idea what to wear with those crazy stripes. That afternoon, Dr. Bumble came to examine Camilla.
"Most extraordinary,"
he exclaimed.
"I've never seen anything like it. Are you having any coughing, sneezing, runny nose, aches, pains, chills, hot flashes, dizziness, drowsiness, shortness of breath, or uncontrollable twitching?"
"No," Camilla told him. "I feel fine."
"Well then,"
Dr. Bumble said, turning to Mrs. Cream,
"I don't see any reason why she shouldn't go to school tomorrow. Here's some ointment that should help clear up those stripes in a few days. If it doesn't, you know where to reach me."
And off he went. The next day was a disaster. Everyone at school laughed at Camilla. They called her Camilla Crayon and Night of the Living Lollipop. She tried her best to act as if everything were normal, but when the class said the Pledge of Allegiance, her stripes turned red, white, and blue, and she broke out in stars. The other kids thought this was great. One yelled out,
"Let's see some purple polka dots."
Sure enough, Camilla turned all purple polka dotty. Someone else shouted,
"Checkerboard!"
and a pattern of squares covered her skin. Soon everyone was calling out different shapes and colors, and poor Camilla was changing faster than you can change channels on a TV. That night, Mr. Harms, the school principal, called.
"I'm sorry, Mrs. Cream,"
he said.
"I'm going to have to ask you to keep Camilla home from school. She's just too much of a distraction, and I've been getting calls from the other parents. They're afraid those stripes may be contagious."
Camilla was so embarrassed. She couldn't believe that 2 days ago everyone liked her. Now nobody wanted to be in the same room with her. Her father tried to make her feel better.
"Is there anything I can get you, sweetheart?"
he asked. "No, thank you," sighed Camilla. What she really wanted was a nice plate of lima beans, but she had been laughed at enough for one day.
Well, yes, I see.
Dr. Bumble mumbled when Mr. Cream phoned the next day.
I think I'd better bring in the specialists. We'll be right over.
About an hour later, Dr. Bumble arrived with 4 people in long white coats. He introduced them to the Creams.
This is Dr. Grupp, Dr. Sponge, Dr. Cricket, and Dr. Young.
Then the specialists went to work on Camilla. They squeezed and jabbed, tapped and tested. It was very uncomfortable.
"Well, it's not the mumps,"
concluded Dr. Grupp.
"Or the measles,"
said Dr. Sponge.
"Definitely not chicken pox."
Put in Dr. Cricket.
"Or sunburn,"
said Dr. Young.
"Try these,"
said the specialists. They each handed her a bottle filled with different colored pills.
"Take one of each before bed,"
said Dr. Grupp. Then they filed out the front door, followed by Dr. Bumble. That night, Camilla took her medicine. It was awful. When she woke up the next morning, she did feel different, but when she got dressed, her clothes didn't fit right. She looked in the mirror, and there, staring back at her, was a giant multicolored pill with her face on it. Dr. Bumble rushed over as soon as Mrs. Cream called. But this time, instead of the specialists, he brought the experts. Dr. Gourd and Mr. Mellon were the finest scientific minds in the land. Once again, Camilla was poked and prodded, looked at and listened to. The experts wrote down lots of numbers, then they huddled together and whispered. Dr. Gourd finally spoke.
It might be a virus,
He announced with authority. Suddenly, fuzzy little virus balls appeared all over Camilla,
Or possibly some form of bacteria.
said Mr. Mellon. Out popped squiggly little bacteria tails,
or it could be a fungus.
added Dr. Gourd. Instantly, Camilla was covered with different colored fungus blotches. The experts looked at Camilla, then at each other.
We need to go over these numbers again back at the lab.
Dr. Gourd explained.
We'll call you when we know something.
But the experts didn't have a clue, much less a cure. By now, the TV news had found out about Camilla. Reporters from every channel were outside her house, telling the story of the bizarre case of the incredible changing kid. Soon a huge crowd was camped out on the front lawn. The Creams were swamped with all kinds of remedies, from psychologists, allergists, herbalists, nutritionists, psychics, an old medicine man, a guru, and even a veterinarian. Each so-called cure only added to poor Camilla's strange appearance until it was hard to even recognize her. She sprouted roots and berries and crystals and feathers and a long furry tail, but nothing worked. One day, a woman who called herself an environmental therapist claimed she could cure Camilla. "Close your eyes," she said. "Breathe deeply and become one with your room." "I wish you hadn't said that," Camilla groaned. Slowly, she started to melt into the walls of her room. Her bed became her mouth, her nose was a dresser, and 2 paintings were her eyes. The therapist screamed and ran from the house. "What are we going to do?" cried Mrs. Cream. "It just keeps getting worse and worse." She began to sob. At that moment, Mr. Cream heard a quiet little knock at the front door. He opened it, and there stood an old woman who was just as plump and sweet as a strawberry. "Excuse me," she said brightly, "but I think I can help." She went into Camilla's room and looked around. "My goodness," she said with a shake of her head. "What we have here is a bad case of stripes, one of the worst I've ever seen." She pulled a container of small green beans from her bag. "Here," she said, "these might do the trick." "Are those magic beans?" asked Mrs. Cream. "Oh my, no," replied the kind old woman. "There's no such thing. These are just plain old lima beans. I'll bet you'd like some, wouldn't you?" she asked Camilla. Camilla wanted a big heaping plateful of lima beans more than just about anything, but she was still afraid to admit it. "Yuck," she said. "No one likes lima beans, especially me." "Oh dear," the old woman said sadly. "I guess I was wrong about you." She put the beans back in her bag and started toward the door. Camilla watched the old woman walk away. Those beans would taste so good, and being laughed at for eating them was nothing compared to what she'd been going through. She finally couldn't stand it. "Wait," she cried. "The truth is, I really love lima beans." "I thought so," the old woman said with a smile. She took a handful of beans and popped them into Camilla's mouth. "Mmm," said Camilla. Slowly, the branches, feathers, and squiggly tails began to disappear. Then the whole room swirled around. When it stopped, there stood Camilla, and everything was back to normal. "I'm cured!" she shouted.
Yes, said the old woman. I knew the real you was in there somewhere.
She patted Camilla on the head. Then she went outside and vanished into the crowd. Afterward, Camilla wasn't quite the same. Some of the kids at school said she was weird, but she didn't care a bit. She ate all the lima beans she wanted, and she never had even a touch of stripes again.
Let me stop it. Stripes, A Bad Case of Stripes by David Shannon. I like this book. I've always liked this book especially because I love the illustration. The illustration is quite beautiful. What can we say, though, about what's different for Camilla? Wait, hold on just a second. Sorry. What's different about COVID-19 and the case of stripes that Camilla has? Well, Camilla was also sick, but if we have COVID-19, do we break out in stripes so everybody can see that we're sick? No. So that was different. What was similar? Well, the doctor asked her the same questions that people are being asked now about when they're being sick. They're saying, are you having any coughing, sneezing, runny nose, aches and pains, chills, hot flashes, dizziness, those kinds of things? Yes, the same kind of questions the doctor will to determine what's wrong with you. And she says, no, I feel fine. Well, that's happening with some people with COVID too. They're finding out that they feel fine, but they're sick and they don't know it. So she has to stay home from school. That's what we have to do. That's similar. We have to stay home. She has to stay home. But she gets cured by what? She gets cured by lima beans. And right now with COVID, lima beans are not going to make you better. A lot of medicines and a lot of medical care would make somebody better who has COVID, but not lima beans. So this is kind of a really complex issue, right? There's a lot of things to do with being sick, and that's why we're home, and that's why I'm here by myself. It's really serious. It's something that we need to think a lot about, and we need to be very careful about. So I really, really hope that this has been a little bit of fun for you. Again, this is my first try. I tried yesterday and filmed on a tablet, and it was yucky. You couldn't even see it, and my film work was really bad. At least this is on the laptop. It's, stationary, so you're not getting so jiggled. And then we'll see if we can do something better next time, and I'll get better at this and put on a real good little show. And bring musical instruments and sing songs. And maybe even I'll dance, occasionally. All right, guys. Well, I had fun. Hopefully we edit this down and it looks a little better and we can add some music and we can have a little bit of fun. So we'll see. And hopefully you'll see this sometime tonight, it's Tuesday. Oh, we didn't even talk about that. What is the actual day? Today is Tuesday, July 21st. So hopefully you'll get this tonight or tomorrow morning. And then I'm also going to be sending you information on something called boom cards. And you'll have access to a computer, a website that gives you little tasks you can do on the computer. So I hope you find that fun. And I will do this again. If this works tonight, we'll do this again tomorrow. Okay, guys? Thanks. Bye.